All right, so real quick, I'm going to go over your first, like, kind of model, like what you can do for your first journal entry. So this doesn't dig as much into like cultural, uh, the analysis I'm going to give is not going to dig much into the cultural like context of the painting. But I think like this is a really great guide for the first journal entry, and just to start out when you are looking at artworks and analyzing them. So there's 4 points: describing, analysis, interpretation, and then deciding. And of course, as the semester progresses and you get like to be an expert at doing this, you'll add more and more to your journal entries. All right. So also remember to cite the artwork at the bottom of your journal entry. And I will put that guide on Schoology. All right. So usually when you approach a work of art, you'll see that it says like oil painting on canvas or carved from marble, or what it's made of, the materials. So you could talk about that. Then you describe everything that you see in the painting. So I see 4 people in a diner. It's late at night. I see lots of greens and reds. So you could describe the colors that you're seeing. So you're just giving a description of what's in front of you. There's a building in the background. There's that looks, it's closed for the evening, or it's vacant because there's really nothing that we can see in the windows. The street is dimly lit from the cafe. So you're just basically giving a description of everything that you're seeing in front of you. Okay. And then you want to go to the analysis, and you're talking about how the lines, the shapes, and the colors and the textures are used in that piece of art, and where are they used and what the focal point is. So the focal point is that first thing that draws you into the work of art, like the first thing that you notice. So for me, the first thing that I notice in this painting is the man and the woman kind of sitting together. And it's a focal point because, her dress is really bright red, and she has like red hair, and there just seems to be like maybe a little more emotion in that piece. And even the man behind the counter, he looks kind of like he's in his own little world, but he's kind of almost like he's maybe noticing them. And a lot of the lines are kind of pointing to that couple, like they're being framed by this back window and the bar and the front window. So they're kind of framed, and a lot of attention is being brought to them. So talking about the lines, they're very geometric. Everything is very smooth in this painting. So we have very geometric lines, squares, geometric shapes. So we have the geometry of the windows, and then even the windows in the back kind of echo that. There's this contrasting of green and red. So it's a night scene, but complementary colors are still being used. And I think that does kind of bring this very quiet night scene. It kind of brings a little more drama to it using those complementary colors, plus that warm yellow lights in the background. And also that big pane of glass in the front is very smooth and reflective. And that's also kind of like a quality kind of throughout the painting, is this very smoothness in the texture that echoes the glass. And I think, how does that all add to the mood? Well, I think the mood is very quiet. And so I think like the everything's very much in order. Everything is very still. There's not a lot of movement, like I said. Uh, there's just this one light. Everything is just very streamlined. And then interpret. So, what do you think is going on in the artwork? So, this is like by looking at things like, what do you think the artist's intent is, and what makes you feel that way? What is the message or mood? And I think this is just like a very common scene from American life at nights. Uh, Edward Hopper, he did capture just a lot of these quiet moments. It kind of it's just like a quiet moment uh, late at night, like these little moments that you find. And uh, there is this kind of message, I think, too, between the couple. The people are together, yet they seem separate from each other, which I think, kind of goes with, how things were changing, especially this was painted in 1942. So, there's a lot of changes happening during this time and how people were like interacting with each other and relating to each other. And so there is this kind of like maybe this small dramatic moment kind of happening in this stillness of the night in this small cafe. But it's, really up to the viewer, like what happened before that or what's happening after that. So I think the interpretation, if you're just looking at this painting without any like other kind of context, it's really it's really up to your own imagination of what you'd want to describe about this painting. So I feel like maybe they're having important discussion, and they decided to have a bite to eat, or maybe they're just kind of meeting for the first time, and they're having this nice intimate discussion. uh, Strangers kind of just gathered together. So yes, it's kind of a very simple, straightforward analysis. And then, the last one is to decide. Do you like this piece or don't you like this piece? And why or why not? So, you won't always infuse your opinion into uh, artworks. Sometimes you're just going to look at them critically. But for this first one, I especially would like to know, what is your opinion of this artwork? Do you like it? Why or why not? So now this is just like I'm just like kind of modeling these questions for you. So remember, you can pick anything from the slideshow, which will be posted on Schoology, or from that introductory chapter in the book. So they're pretty much, I think, the same images. And I hope it's helpful. Again, if you have any questions, just like email me. And if you want to go through things, we can, I've helped people kind of like walk through some art pieces, especially at the beginning of the semester. All right. So, anyways, I hope you have a great week. And yes, I try to have everything posted usually Sunday night or very, very early on Monday morning. All right. Good night. Bye.